Hello, this video is not sponsored. I bought this Book Cafe set, which has 1,718 pieces. It retails for $90 US, but I got mine on Amazon for like $77 US. I'm going to give you a quick summary right now of my overall thoughts about this before I get into the details. Overall, I do like it. I do recommend it, and I do feel like it was a good value, even considering it at the original retail price of $90 US. I feel like you get more than $90 US in 2025 worth of stuff here. The build process is generally joyful, with a few head scratchers along the way that are relatively minor. Access to the interior, which has a lot of detail in it, good detail, is easy, is actually done well on this one. Some of the wiring for the lighting is not done the best because this is one of the older sets from this company's second generation of products. I'll talk more about the details there. This does come with some figures. I'll show you those later as well. But overall, my impression of this is positive. I think it is a good product that's worth it. The form factor here is that of half of a modular building, so 16 studs wide, 32 studs deep. It is built on plates like all of their sets are, though not the old outdated base plate style, so a half of a plate higher than that. It's pretty much flush on the side with just a couple of very, very small exceptions that I'll show you. It does have all of the electronics included in the sets to make it light up, as is the case with pretty much every product from this company. There's a AAA battery box on the back. You have to supply your own batteries, of course. I'm powering it personally from a little USB power bank thing. You can also just power it from a USB hub, one that is designed to provide power for charging capable things and such. They do include the adapter for that, and they do give you access to get to the interior by removing floors or by opening up the back, and I'll show you those details as we go. Any decorated pieces you see in this are prints, not stickers, as of set number 9030 and higher numbers than that. They're not using stickers. So all their modern stuff doesn't use stickers. That was the cutoff point. But if you ever have any questions about whether a specific set does have stickers, just check the instruction sheet because all the instructions are available online. The prints are a combination of pad prints and UV prints. So some of them are a little bit just slightly grainy if you look really, 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 really close, but from more than a few inches away, you're not going to notice that. I think the quality is generally good. Things that need to be aligned are aligned. They actually do have a policy of putting pieces together on a temporary part before striking the prints to make sure that things that need to be aligned next to one another are set up properly. This little patio area is not the greatest. I mean, you just have the little planter out here. That was a little bit disappointing when that kind of ended right there. It's just a small thing. You got a little cat right here that's stalking a bird. I really don't like the fact that this table has no studs on it. That's right, no studs. That darn cup just keeps falling off. It just slides around. Prints here, print there, print even on the door. I wasn't expecting that. Nice little sign here. You got the street lamp here, which uses just a single stud. If you do end up getting this set, just a quick tip, might not have been completely clear in the instructions. Attach the stud to the top half of the dome first, not the bottom. The top makes it a lot easier as you assemble everything down. The wire is actually pre-run down in this. This is the first time that I've encountered one of those pieces from this company. So that's nice that you see no wires here. However, this is not so nice. This is weird to me. This is, as I mentioned, this has some head scratchers to it. This is one of them right here. So this is one of their exclusive pieces, that 1x2 that has channels in it to allow wires to go down underneath, to go down the side, to go underneath, and then the wire passes into the plate underneath this tile. So this tile is kind of pinching a wire there, and then over here there's a specialized part that allows wires to flow freely. There's a part right there that allows wires to go through freely, but then the wire does stick out in between. So this is good. That's good. That's good. This is not so good. They definitely could have done better than that. Even at this time, I'm pretty sure that they had the tile piece already and should have used that. There are a number of places where stuff like that happens throughout this, and I will call those out along the way. Also from the side here, These big windows are nice, but you do get to see some of the wires. You can probably use tweezers and kind of get that set up to work a little bit better. While we are over here, I'll go ahead and show you the battery box is here, and all of this back here slides out. I'm going to go ahead and pull this off and show you this. So the power distribution block is down right there. So that's why the wires are visible in from the outside, because they just go underneath a little staircase there. And I did find that the main wire to the battery felt a little bit short, so I actually had to reroute it just slightly. I ran the battery box upside down compared to how they suggested it. It was getting a little bit tight there. At this time, they had not fully mastered getting the lengths just right. You got the bigger windows up top as well. Lights out here. These I think were kind of fine. Yeah, just fine. I really like the awning very much. Oh, this plant right here is kind of annoying. It's like a topiary. They should have put studs in between there, because look at this. See how it compresses and then returns? The studs in between there are not fully connected, or I guess a rod just could have gone through all of it. Just little tiny details. It's not causing anything. It's not causing any harm, but I did want to call out pretty much everything that annoyed me along the way, even if it's very, very small. Nice view from the side over here. There's even a print on this. I think it's supposed to be a newspaper box. They didn't need to have that. They definitely did not need to have that. I like the corners, how the corners are done. I like the flowers out here. Very, very small and simple, basic vines. Nice little overhang right here. Not really enough space for a figure to stand there. I think you can make one pose in there, but there isn't access. Like this isn't the door, it's just windows. Speaking of windows, bay windows. I like bay windows. I really like bay windows. The build of this could have dropped a couple of bars just right down here and right down here to cover up the inside. They do have their special shapes of window pieces, I think, to get around some very annoying legal protection that one company has gotten in the EU for some parts. So this company has to make some of their newer designs of parts just slightly legally distinct from them. Aligning all these is not fun, especially the way that they do it. You have to put the dark blue pieces together, or they intend for you to put the dark blue pieces together first and then apply all the little tiles. I personally just don't like aligning one by ones, but got through it. It's not that big of a deal in the end. This is weird. This is just kind of plain. Like all this is nice. All this is textured, but then up here, it just goes really, really plain. On the other side, exact same thing. Could have used something there. It's not as bad here because just kind of the consistency all the way through, I think, is fine. But on this side, it's much more stark. Nice. And then prototype. The roof is also pretty simple. I really like these pieces in clear here. It's too bad they didn't put something underneath to give you a different color. I don't know, a gray or maybe the sand blue again, or just something, or even black, just something to make that a different color when you look through it, because the pieces themselves are really nice. I noticed there are also these little miniature fence pieces, and this is gold. These are all molded in gold parts. And around the back, well, this is pretty simple, but I like the sand blue, and I like getting these windscreen pieces recolored. I think that's perfectly fine. This looks plain. Back here, it is just the back. I actually kind of like having the little bit of breakup in here with the gold pieces, just something to change it up. You've got a little bit of detail in here. You got a little bit of texture with these hinge pieces. That's right, those are hinge pieces. You know what's going to happen. And the line coming through here, that's nice. But this just being another single block of one color isn't the best. All right, the hinges. This opens. This is fantastic. And up top, you can also remove this to get easy access to the third floor. That's right. There are 3 detailed floors to this. Let's start with a look down at the bottom. So this is the back wall of the cafe that we're looking at now that we've just rotated on out. It goes a full 180 degrees, so you can appreciate all the little prints, all the little exclusive prints that they brought into this space, which is so nice, so appreciated. And all these are drum lacquered silver pieces here. So very, very bright and shiny, not full chrome. Thank goodness. It's got kind of just the satin, more stainless steel kind of look, which is exactly how it should be, I think. So just a really nice little area right here. And even as you look inside, nearby, there's a print right there. Another unique print for the back of the register. And, even without getting inside and even without turning down the lights, so there's more contrast with the lights, there's a lot that you can appreciate here. And you can also see some of that stuff through the windows too. For a better look, let me go ahead and close this up temporarily and remove the next floor up. There's a trick to this. There has always been a trick, and there still is. They have a connection that is a touch connection that will separate, so the electronics, the power will not flow through once you pick this up, but you do need to rotate things forward. I've talked about this a bunch of times, but there is the connector right there, a little touch connector. It's just an adhesive pad with a couple of copper contacts on the top, and a couple of prongs from up above will touch that, and then electricity continues on up. To remove this safely and reliably, you always want to rotate it forward. Take the floor and rotate it against the width of this. You don't want to go sideways, and you don't want to try to pull it up from the front. If you do so, this piece up here may stay down there, which means that its wire is still going to be attached up here, and you're still going to be tethered, and it's a pain, and you have to try to put everything back together. If you always rotate it in the direction of this, going across that piece, wherever it is, just remember when you build the thing, then you don't have a problem. Hopefully, they will eventually change these parts out. They just need to have less clutch power so they don't like each other as much, so they don't try to stick together. But I do have to point that out every time because it's a very, very small, minor, basic thing that can either be frustrating or not. It can be not frustrating at all if you know the trick. The inside of this looks nice. I like the floor pattern, and I like especially the little windowsill bench there with you can see the donut print right there as well. Figures aren't going to sit on those little stools very well because they're just so shiny, and they don't have any texture. These seats over here do have studs in them, but this company's figures don't have studs in their legs to hold on to that. So you kind of have to just sit things there if you're only going to use the figures in this set, which I recommend just getting your own figures in general. People generally prefer other styles, but yeah, the interior of this does look quite nice. When it's all closed up, that's how everything integrates together. And that's the view that you would also see through the front window or even the side window of the whole thing together. So it definitely looks nice. Could use some more studs though, because where are there studs? Behind the register, and that's it. Places to have figures' feet get attached. You got access for figures to go up the stairs here to the book area. So it's Book Cafe. This is the cafe part, and then the book part is on the next floor up. This is the view inside of there, opening just the rear door and also taking the flap off the top, the top floor's little access port. But you can, obviously see quite a lot of it. You have some additional prints over here. This, it's that blank wall. At least they did something with it for the interior. That helps a lot. They have various different ways of building the books on these bookshelves, these bookcases. A lot of the books are actually attached in from the sides. It's an interesting thing. I think they're clamped in from these long 2x6. Was it 2x6 or 2x8? 2x6, I think, tiles. They're just simple builds, but interesting. Got a book that's open there as well. Little gramophone, tiny little micro build. But again, to see this better, let me go ahead and remove the next floor up, and I'm going to use the exact same trick. Rotate this forward, not to the sides, and you'll see the light on the ceiling up there should turn off if I've done this right. If I break this free from there, you can see the connector also down below, and it is actually not breaking free right now. See, that's the thing. I love actually being able to demonstrate that in real time. Right there is the 1x4 piece that should have separated out, and it didn't. So I'm going to put a little bit more pressure on the front. Yeah, this one's not doing the thing. Yeah, that's why they need to fix that part. It's just such a small thing. Just needs to not have clutch power so that when I pull this up, it would release. So what I'm gonna have to do now is put my finger under here and kind of wedge that out to make sure that it separates. And I've got my fingernail under there, light turned off, and there it is. So that's what is supposed to happen. And that's the culprit piece. Thankfully, most of the time with these sets, you don't need to take a whole floor off to get access to the interior to see the stuff. But if you want good full access, well, there it is. Just took a little bit of extra care in this case. So now you can see the back bookcase a little bit better. There are actually prints on the little parts, the little 1x2s below over here, which you don't really see afterwards. There's another print over here, which represents the newsstand set. I didn't realize that the newsstand set was as old as it is. Nice little lounge chair over there. Looks very comfortable with the sand green color. You got a glass top to this small table here. You can sit a figure down in there. There's a light above this. So that's a nice, very, very warm, very tungsten looking thing. And I like the bright colors of the checkerboard pattern for the floor. You know, just adds a lot of life and vibrance without being too loud. But just one place to sit. Oh, this is a cart, just a little book cart. Those don't have any prints on them, but they just represent, you know, things that need to be put back. I wish that there was a little bit more here, at least another seat or something. You can have people standing around. I like how it's a little bit messy, but one more seat I think would have been nice. But I do have to recognize that this is a small space, and they did include access for figures to fully be able to walk up through the staircase there, which is a nice consideration, you know, considering the figures, thinking about their lives, thinking about how they interact with these spaces. It feels good to us as huge figures, you know, that those things have been thought about. All right, so with this back, the light for this space is rather dim. When you don't have bright, infinite white void lights on in a studio setting, you can appreciate that light much better. You can see it through the window, through the curtains here. But this space is relatively simple. Just have a side table. The bed isn't that useful because it doesn't have any studs on it. And again, the figures that they have that will just slide around. There's one additional print here, a book that's open, another one off to the side that's it says storybook on it, but that's just it. This top roof section here is not designed to come off. So that is a semi-permanent part of this. Obviously you can, like I just had, you can take this whole thing off, but this is the access that you get. And I think it's fine. You know, you are able to get big human hands in there to pose figures as best you can. But again, we're a little bit lacking in studs, just like in the level below and the ground floor, a little bit lacking in studs to attach figures' feet. Now you do notice some more wires going around, and you know, it's just been kind of a continuous theme with this. You've seen some of them are a little bit messy. There have been some additional spots where there's pinching of wires underneath non-structural components, just plain tile. Some of it occurs down under here and over on this side. I think it's mostly on one side to just pass the electricity around. And I just wish that had been done better. Again, that's just because they were a little bit still in the learning phase as they did this. This is a company that originally did light kits for Lego sets, and the traditional way for doing light kits is not great. You don't have a lot of good options. It was standard before this company. It was standard to always pinch all wires everywhere, to have them in the way, to be just a total mess. This company introduced the nice pieces, the channel pieces for routing things. This set here just didn't use enough of them yet. Set comes with 4 figures. Here are the first 2, and there's a bunch of information I have to repeat in every video because some folks are seeing their first review of a product from this company right now. These are the same size as the leading brands. They're not able to be the same design as the leading brands because the leading brand has a trademark on every single detail of this shape. You have compatibility with the headgear pieces and the head pieces themselves. These figures are fully articulated. You can move the arms, rotate the wrists, rotate the heads. There's waist articulation, and the legs move independently as well. They hold bar and tile sized pieces. And ultimately, I know that most people don't like these or don't like them as much as these because this is what more people are used to. Just it's kind of the worldwide standard. But again, this company can't make them like that. They made them like this. Some people are warming up to these, you know, if you like them, you like them. You don't, it's okay. You're not paying much for them. You add your own figures from whatever brand you want. These are the leftover pieces. This is their part separator. They give you tweezers to help with wire management. They give you extra arms and at least one set of hands, usually more hands than that. These are some of their specialized parts. They give you a handful of spares, thankfully, for wire management, some like 2/3 bricks and then plates. And over here, the blue was used for the sign, the multi-part sign on the side of the building. So they attach all the pieces first, stamp it, and then they just give you the whole thing kind of pre-assembled. You got to take those pieces off. It's just they're already pre-aligned, like I talked about before. Got some gold flowers here to spare, and this should not be a spare. I messed up. I put a different similar piece, a headlight brick, where this should have gone, and I just haven't dug in there and replaced it yet. Sorry about that. Again, the retail price of this is $90 US for 1,718 pieces. And overall, I do feel like I got my money's worth here. It's too bad about some of the wiring things. They haven't fully 100% learned about that or learned from those mistakes just yet. They still do some things like that on occasion. In newer sets, they're doing them less and less and less, but this had probably some of the worst cases of the pinching of wires underneath tiles that they've done in their history, because it was one of their first sets since they started actually routing wires with their specialized channel bricks and tiles and plates and such. But none of that is enough to take away, I think, the goodness of this. I would say, however, that I would not recommend this as a first set from this company for somebody to try out. Because of that, I would definitely recommend trying to look for something with a higher model number to it, a higher product ID, the F90 whatever number. Make sure that you stick to something over F9030, because that's when the second generation began, when they started doing the channel bricks and took away stickers. But the farther away you get, the better the opportunity to learn or to benefit from their learning from their own mistakes. But again, still just the amount of stuff that I get here, the sheer volume of it, the number of details on the inside, the number of prints that it comes with, all those things are very, very good. The distribution of the lights is also excellent on this. It's like the right number of lights in the right places. So there's a lot of good here and a lot of good for your money, I think. Just not the best that they've done on a technical level. Yeah. Those are my thoughts, though, just generally overall. If you personally have an interest in making a purchase of something, not necessarily this, please consider using one of my affiliate links in the video description. Absolutely no pressure on that, but if you do, well, it's no cost to you. I may gain a small little commission, which I then put back into buying more sets, keeping the lights on in the studio, and bringing you more content like this. So thank you very much for your support. Thank you for making it to the end of the video in the first place, and I'm hoping that I brought you some value with this. Bye for now.